So welcome to today's session about Instagram, some do's and don'ts. And before I'm going to start sharing about the do's and don'ts, there's a nice quote that I like to use a lot because I think it's like this is the meaning of behind everything we do in social media and in general, but especially in social media. Build something 100 people love, not something 1 million people kind of like it. Okay, so we want to create content that will reach out to, doesn't matter the amount of people, but we prefer to even have a small amount of people that really love what we do and love what we are speaking about, instead of having, let's say, even 10,000 people that kind of like it. Because eventually, when we work with social media and especially with platforms like Instagram, if we want to actually try to grow our account, we're looking to increase exposure. And one of the ways to increase exposure is by improving engagement. And also by doing those two together, which really supporting and creating a type of a cycle, this is how we're actually going to be able to generate more leads and also to be able to convert those followers to an actual client. Okay, so I want to have this quote in back of our head when we think about different social media platforms. And today we're going to speak about Instagram, because you're going to see that some of the big do's and don'ts are really related to how we actually improve our engagement and growing our followers. So the first one, it's something I always say and kind of repeating myself, but it's not to try to be everything to everyone. So really avoid by focusing on a wider range of audience, because by doing so, we're actually not improving our engagement. We're doing the other way around. Because if I'm just trying to be everything to everyone, it means that I need to speak different type of languages. And usually, as a one-man show, you cannot really do it. You cannot really split yourself. So from the capacity side, you cannot do it. That's why, for example, big companies, what they do, they divide their brand to sub-brands. They divide it to different sectors. And then each and every one of them have a different channel to communicate with. Okay, so by trying to be everything to everyone, we're actually doing the opposite of actually succeeding and growing our business. And versus that, like you want to actually find a specific audience to focus on, an audience that actually both of you resonate with each other. Because if you both resonate with each other, then you can actually communicate well, and then you can actually build relationships. And also when you attract more targeted audience, it really helps you to improve your engagement, because it allows you to create more relevant content that is relevant to that specific audience, something they can resonate with, and through that to build a relationship, and through that to get more engagement. And by getting more engagement, we actually helping with the help of the algorithm to increase exposure. And not just to increase exposure, but to increase exposure to the right audience. Because one of the things I'm going to mention here, it's not just about growing our followers by the numbers, it's to making sure that we bring in the right audience to us. Okay, if you bring the right audience to us, it means there's a better chance that we can actually convert them from followers to actual clients. The second one is about the don't do follow for follow. And a lot of people are like, at least like in the beginning, and there was a time it was more trendy that everyone doing follow for follow. And then you kind of feel obligated to follow other accounts because they followed you. But actually, by following accounts that you don't find as relevant, you reducing yours and theirs exposure. Because if I'm not interested and they're not really interested in your account, then you both are not really engaging with that content. And through that, you're not even growing with the exposure and you're not getting new clients. And the other thing is, like, when you do the follow for follow, it's basically you're coming from a place that you're chasing after those numbers, trying to get a higher number in your followers. But it doesn't mean that it's going to bring you more leads. It doesn't mean that it's going to bring you more clients. So yes, it's nice to see those numbers of the followers, but are you actually getting a business out of it? So when people tell you follow for follow, you only follow those who you really find as valuable to you. Okay, and that's the difference. Because by not doing it and making sure that you're following the relevant accounts, you actually making sure that you're connecting with accounts that are relevant to you and to your interest of your business, or just to you on a personal side. Even on my business account, I can follow certain things that I do for my personal part, but I enjoy their content and I engage with them. So you can do for both. And also by following accounts that are relevant to you, you can help after accounts that like have let's say important information that can either teach you certain things about your business, maybe even like to help you find like different trends or things, because they're it's like they have those accounts that like of influencer that will tell you about every audio that is trendy or effect or something. So you want to follow those type of accounts that will help you to be engage with them. Okay, you want to follow accounts of even people from your industry, because it's really going to help you, for example, to also get content ideas, but also to actually reach out to more relevant audience. Because if you're working, like if you're following after accounts that from others from your industry, you can see their content, you can comment on their content, you can engage with other people. There's a good chance that they are also your target audience. And that's the difference when we look about the following part. So we're making sure we're not just following because someone told us or we feel uncomfortable or we just want to see the numbers. We follow after this, we can actually gain something out of it, either for our personal part or a business part or for our audience, but there's different reasons, but you find the right audience to follow. The third big do's and don'ts is about the followers that people actually buying followers, buying engagement. And I have came across different accounts that were sharing that they were buying. And then what happens with this is, first, you're not like having a genuine audience to connect with in the long run. Some of them from those you're buying are actually bots, are actually fake. So they won't engage with your account. If they're not engaging with your account, you're not going to improve your engagement and you're not going to increase your exposure. As well, you won't be able to convert them to actual clients. So it's nice on the numbers to look, but you won't see that growth. So you don't want to do this. As well, by buying fake, it also can harm your credibility. As well, with the Instagram is a platform that really quick to block you. Okay, if in the past, let's say during COVID, you could have seen that she wasn't blocking that quickly and she used to block for 1 day, for the 24 hours. Now they can actually block you for a week or a month. Now you don't want to not be able to use Instagram for a full week or a month. So this is also from that side, not something you want to do. But instead of buying followers or buying engagement, if you're being consistent with the type of content, with your online presence, you're actually gonna also help the algorithm to learn about your account and what's right for you. And also you will be able to learn about your audience and you will be able to build relationship with them. So by regular like posting and like having a schedule and people are getting used to, you get them to your audience to be interested because they know what to expect. They know you're going to keep on posting, even if you have weeks like you do more, you do less. Like it wasn't my luck this week to post on Instagram because everything got stuck for me. Yes, Hanika?
There is a e-short if you want to edit. Top and bottom line, right audience.
Yeah.
There's a e-short in audience.
See, that's what happened when you type like me.
Just a note for you.
And I keep on checking, and then after I always discover, oh, I should have changed it. But it's fine. English is not my first language, so I accept it. But it's all about making sure that your audience keep them interesting, keep them understanding that your content, they know it's relevant for them, that you are a relevant profile for them. So you're gonna keep on appearing in their feed, right? Because when you enter your feed and you look at different accounts, the ones you're engaging the most are the ones that are gonna appear first. That's why, for example, when you do follow for follow, If you start removing those you're not really interested, now the one you are interested is going to start appearing. And that's how you're helping each other as well to grow. It's also important to be consistent with everything we do around this, because it's will going to help us to increase exposure. If my audience know exactly what is going to find in my account and that I'm there for them, answering their question and everything, if they know that, they will definitely want to keep on coming back and looking at my content. And also it builds the credibility that they know they can trust you. They know you're going to be there. You're not going to disappear. So it makes it easier for them to make a decision that they do want to buy your products and your service. Okay? Because especially like in certain places, like in South Africa, that people are always afraid of someone to scam them. If you build this and you're being consistent and answering and putting yourself out there and they know what to expect, that's how you're going to grow your followers. And that is how you're going to grow your business as well, because you're going to get more business opportunities out of it. The next one is about low quality content versus high quality content. The poor quality really can actually turn off your followers and the engagement. And poor quality means that it's content that it's not necessarily relevant to your audience. Content that they're not necessarily finding as valuable, insightful. That's why, for example, if you want to share certain stuff about your personal life, there's one thing if you share it and tell the story behind your brand and share it, like, let's say, for example, in the story, versus like, my business account became my personal one and I'm sharing about how I'm having fun all day. Okay, you want to make sure that you're creating content that they will find as valuable. And also, when we are just following trends, it's kind of a low quality, it's not original. And that's why we really want to find that balance between finding our own unique voice, okay, that our audience will find as relevant together with the trends. And even when we use trends, we want to use them the right way, because we want to make sure we're choosing trends that we can actually benefit from them. And that's because they're trendy. Versus if we do post high quality content, that it's like from the visual side, it's more appealing, like using high quality images and videos that also are well composed. Like I always mention, the less is more, not too much information, not too many details in it, because I sometimes tend to see a lot on Instagram and people forget, like it's a small square. And the amount of information there's like, I'm not gonna stop and read it. And like me, more people are like that. And people gonna skip it. Or they're gonna take just one sentence out of it or one like little thing out of it. And then you missed out. And you could have actually taken it and maybe divided to a carousel or maybe divided to different posts. And it's also about creating content that it's really focusing on the problem that the audience is experiencing, because this will help us to improve the engagement. And it's really something that's gonna help you, because I always say, like, the quality will bring the quantity, but not just the quantity, it will bring the right quantity. And that is what we're looking for. Okay, I know it's nice when you enter Instagram and you see the followers, but it doesn't mean anything. There's lots of accounts that get like thousands of like followers and millions of followers, but are they engaging? Okay, you can even go to the big companies. Just because they have a name, they get like a higher amount of followers. But if you look at the engagement, it's not always in line. That's why we really want to focus on the quality content, on original content, that even if we use a trend, we make it original, we make it our own. The next one is about the hashtags, that I see that certain accounts really overuse or using the wrong way the different hashtags. So first, we need to make sure that we are avoiding using too many irrelevant hashtags. Because yes, and it's in line with the second one about using too many hashtags just because we can. The fact that Instagram allows us to share 30 hashtags doesn't mean we need to use all 30. First, you're spending lots of time to try to figure out what 30 to put. Second, you're probably using some irrelevant hashtags that are not even any like connection to the content as well. So why use it? We want to make sure that we're actually using hashtag wisely, that we're having a strategy there, that we're using hashtags are going to help us to reach it to a wider range of audience, but also the right audience that's going to help us to increase the visibility of our posts, of our content. Also choose content in the right amount, not too low, but not too high. I cannot search and use hashtags with like, let's just maybe a few hundreds or a few millions. Okay, if my account is small, I need to know how to find those right hashtags with the right amount of search. But also we need to remember we're using hashtags to help us increase exposure. So we want to make sure that we're using this tool to help us gain the right exposure to the right audience. Because if I'll go back to what I've said in the beginning, it's not about just growing our followers. It's growing our followers with people that actually gonna love what we do, gonna love what we speak about, that are really interested. Because if I'm interested, there's a higher chance that I want to engage with you. Even if I want to engage in the comments, I'll save, I'll share. It means that I can send you a private message and I'll reach out to you when it's the right time for me. So we want to make sure that we're using the different tools and the different features we've got as well, like the hashtag, the right way. So it's not to overuse it. My recommendation, like a lot of others, is to use between 8 to 15 hashtags. But it's really to make sure that those hashtags are really relevant to what we do and to the content. The next one is about making sure that we're not just using one or two of Instagram features. Let's say we just do Reels and post, or we just do Reels, or we just do story, okay? We want to make sure that we actually utilizing Instagram features, because by using only one feature, we won't get like much exposure. And by using one feature, we're not actually enjoying the full benefits of the rest of the features. So basically, we are finding only one way to promote our business instead of using different ways to promote our business. By utilizing Instagram features, we can share more different type of content to help us keep fresh and engaging with our audience. As well, because they provide us variety of different like features, by using them, we can use all of them in a type of a mix to really help us to strengthen their relationship with our audience, to really build a stronger relationship with our audience. And we also need to remember those are actually free features. So like, why are we not using them? Someone give you a free stage to put your brand out there. You don't need to pay for a big billboard somewhere or to advertise or all of it. Like paid adverts on Instagram, it's only one little thing that you can use. You've got so many other type of features that you can use for free, which is like, for example, the story and the highlights and reels and posts and the carousel. Even in the post, you've got carousel, you've got regular, you've got so many different things you can use. Why are we not making the most out of them? So really make sure that you're finding the right balance and the right mix for you and that you're making the most out of it. The last one actually is one of the most important one, which is all about making sure that we're really not ignoring the right numbers. Because what happened, a lot of people are focusing on the wrong numbers instead of focusing on the right numbers. And when I say the wrong numbers, it's like, for example, the likes, that someone actually told me that I need to make a sticker out of it for my saying likes don't pay the bills. Because it is true, like is so easy to do. We take our phone, we see it, we scroll, we like. Most of the time, we didn't necessarily even read it. Okay? Versus if we actually do a different type of like engagement, like commenting, saving, sharing. Okay, like even taking a screenshot on our phone just to have it. And that's fine. Versus like because if you're focusing on the wrong numbers, we won't be able to learn what our audience likes, what's not, how our performance is doing. We want to really like be able to communicate and engage with the audience, because the audience will tell us everything. They're going to tell us what they like, what they don't like, what they want us to replicate, what not so much. They're going to tell us who they are, like from the gender, for example, the location. they're going to tell us lots of information. But if we're just looking at like how many views we've got, how many followers we've got, and how many likes we've got, we won't be able to make sure that we're creating the quality content. Okay, well, we'll be focusing on something that's not going to give us the results. And eventually when we use Instagram, like any other social media, we don't use it for fun. Okay, or not like if you don't have a business, yes, you use it for fun, you just enter to see what other people are doing, and whatever is sharing, like, oh, I went to a nice one farm, I did this, I did that, whatever. But in your business, we're really looking on actually generating leads out of it. We're looking to get more sales out of it. If you want to get more sales, it's not just about the fun part, it's really about learning. Okay, learning what type of content works. Are we actually reaching out to the right audience? Because, for example, you can say, I operate in a certain area, but hey, apparently, if you look at the insights, you can discover that you're not even reaching out to that area. Okay, so there's so many things. You're maybe trying to reach it just for moms, and now you see that most of your audience is actually guys. Or they may be just liking it, but you're not converting it. And that's the purpose of it. We really want to make sure that we are following it the right way. So after you create content, few hours after, go check the inside. Once a week, take a look quickly. In the end of the month, even create a nice report out of it. Okay, that's going to help you to really understand. If you, for example, look at my Instagram feed, I've changed it so many times until I got the one I have now. And the reason why I've played with it and changed, not just because my brand identity changed a bit towards the end, but also because I was listening to the audience. I've started with one thing, and I saw that certain things are bringing saves, certain things are not. I realized to play, and that's how I play with this, that I got to where I wanted it to be. So that's why it's very important to make sure that we're not trying to be everything to everyone. We're focusing on a specific niche. We don't want to buy followers. We don't want to do follow for follow. We want to focus on quality content with quality images and quality videos. We want to make sure that we're creating content that is relevant to our audience, because even if we have 500 people following us, you prefer to have those 500 people to love what you do versus to kind of like it. Okay, you want to make sure that you're actually building relationship with those 500 instead of having 10,000 people that you build a relationship, let's say, with 5 from them. And that's a huge difference, because eventually your goal is to make sure we're reaching out to the right audience, that we're not just growing, we're growing by reaching out to the right audience. We're focusing on the quality to bring them. We're utilizing the features and the hashtags, that is one of them, one of the tools. We're actually utilizing the insight as well. So basically, Instagram is giving you all the different options and the different tools, the different features to help you build your business. All you need to do is actually just use it. Just make the most out of it. And that's the important part. Okay, and that's what we want to make sure we're focusing. This is how we're going to grow our Instagram, by growing it the right way. And this is how we're going to grow a business. Okay, and I know like people tend to look at those things like, oh, but I want more, I want more. No, what you want more is to have more business. To have more business, focus on the right things and not on the things that's going to hold you back. Okay, because if you're going to be concerning about, oh, but I didn't got enough likes, so what? How many of those who actually like your content became your clients? Think about it like this. So always make sure you're looking at things the right way. So this